that were disabling you. Yes, to be honest, disabling you, because they thought that, it's all about learning. My dad did the same thing. He said, go study, become successful. I'm like, yeah, but with what? What she said to me was so amazing, because that's exactly what my dad did. We have a joke in the family that whatever my dad touched turned into gold, because that's what we were doing. Basically, was he used to take stuff from China, bring it to Saudi Arabia or Dubai, and sell it. And he would sell everything. Then we would go back to China and bring more. And then slowly, we got rich. So he started bringing in containers, sold. And in this generation now, he's still doing a business and he's struggling. And I'm like, why are you struggling, Dad? Because you had everything you touched was into gold. He's like, yeah, but this is not working. And his strategy is still the same. Give me more money. I'll put more clothes into the store and they're going to sell. I'm like, no, it's not going to sell, because now brand positioning matters. There's a lot of competition in the market. Your clothes are not the only clothes that are available. There are more things now. People have different choices, sustainable, blah, 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 blah. It's not as easy as it was before.
Yeah.
Before, all you needed to was just grind, right? Just grind. The harder you worked, the more successful you're going to get. But now it's how smarter you're going to work. It's not hard
I feel
anymore.
like we have very similar backgrounds. Like, I'm not gonna say we have the same father because that sounds pretty darn weird. But my dad also, he works in the construction industry. He buys from other countries. He sells into Dubai. The same thing as your father. My dad specifically door frames, doorknobs, and security features. I don't know what commodity your father works with, but and like him, like I used to remember he'd always like be relaxed and calm because when we were young, because he was doing so well financially, his hard work was paying off. He opened this very successful company. And like, if the problem was just like the future generation, again, why is he struggling too today? My answer to that, because like witnessing how my dad worked, because I would go with him these days, not when I was young. Now I go with him to meetings sometimes. And from what I see is that people his age, other business owners his age, a handshake meant something. Their word meant something. They all knew each other by name. They all had coffee together. You know those little cups, the little finjane. They used to have coffee together. They used to like, sorry, not complain about their wives. They used to critique their wives, let's say, and like there was camaraderie, there was brotherhood, you know. And then they would make business and do their best not to screw each other over. But the point is, they didn't pass this to their sons. In these meetings, I never saw them with their little sons sitting next to them, watching and learning everything. No, their son was at school learning Little Einstein or watching Little Einstein or playing on their iPad or something. So the thing is, when you are part of a culture of like, what's it called? Genuineness? Genuine? You guys are genuine
Yeah.
and your words seem something, but you don't pass that on to the next generation. And suddenly the next generation starts replacing your friends. Like, okay, your friend didn't teach his son, but now his son replaced him. So he doesn't have the same value as your friend. He doesn't have the same value as you. He's looking to make easy money. Maybe he sells his company to a multinational. Maybe he still owns the company, but he left the running of his company to a third party. Or maybe he himself is like, you know what, why am I working so hard for this? Just buy the cheapest products. I don't care if it breaks. I don't care about my dad's old connections. Just, get a turnover. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's why, like, even now, the consequences of what the previous generation did is now spilling back onto them.
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
then I feel like, but the focus of this episode is us. It's this generation, the millennials, the Gen Z. What do we do about it, Ahad? Like you say, like take ownership of your life. Make a decision. It's all in your hands. Like, but what do you think we should do? Like, should we look at the previous generation and mimic what they did that was successful? Or are we supposed to come up with something completely new?
I think, to be honest, you can do whatever you want to do as long as you do something. Because what I'm seeing here now in our generation, George, is people are paralyzed. This whole dopamine hit that is coming in while you're sitting at home in the dark, scrolling, or watching TV mindlessly, right? Or posting on TikTok just for the views. You're stuck. And that's not the good kind of stuck, right? As I said in the start of the podcast, you're moving, you're going backwards, and you can't stand still. I'm all for standing still, but this is not standing still. This is getting stuck in the mud, and you're not able to move because of so many things around you are happening so fast. Change is happening. So go back 30 years, go back 50 years. There was no telephone, proper telephone. There was landlines. From there, we move on from landline to a cell phone to a mobile phone to what we have now.
Dial-up internet.
You went through it too fast, and we did not evolve as quickly as the technology around us evolved. And that's also paralyzing us, because now we're like, oh shit, what do we learn this, do we learn that? This generation, so many kids learned coding, right? Software development. Why? Oh, because the software development era, booming era, but now software development is obsolete. AI can write your code for you. So what? Now let's go into AI. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to jump to the next thing because we're so focused on surviving. But that's not, in my eyes, that's not how you need to focus on your life. You need to focus on a purpose. That purpose can be your community. That purpose can be your family. That purpose can be your friends. That purpose can be a career, to be honest, George. If you're like, you know what, I'm a very ambitious person, I want to get somewhere, you're going to put in more hours, you're going to do more things. But that's what gives you energy. Sitting at home, getting stuck and doing this is easy dopamine hits, but it doesn't give you energy. And you know why? You know how I know if a thing gives you energy or not, George? Is when you're done with it, do you feel happy or sad? So ask yourself your question when you are scrolling on TikTok mindlessly or on Instagram mindlessly for an hour, and after that, do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel good that you spent? No. If you are
I
watching
wonder
TV
where all the
mindlessly,
time went.
exactly, that already gives you a very easy answer that this is your psychology playing a joke on you. In reality, you're not happy here. But when you go work out, you hate it. But when you're done with it, does it give you energy or not? You feel satisfied. You're like, oh shit, I did something. When you're building a presentation, it sucks. But when you deliver the presentation, it becomes successful. The company approves your project or something. You get energy. You're like, oh shit, that was fun. You don't get drained. Oh, that was an effort. You get energy. And that's what we're missing. We're missing people and their focus on what gives them energy.